Hi, this is Sherry Veronica. There was a fundraiser for this guy, Adam. His last name happens to be Brown. They didn't have it here. They just said Adam. That's all you needed to know. Just send your $50 and you don't need to know his last name. But they say he was popular enough that they could have said Adam, also known as Phoenix, and you would know where the $50 that you were given was going to. He has died. Okay, when it's your time to go, you're gonna go, and people are singing his praises right now on social media. And I don't know if you have ever thought about it the way I think about it, like when avatars come to the earth, like for instance Jesus. There probably was never a Jesus, but we're going to go along with the Bible thing. Okay, let's go along with the stories they have in the Bible, because they had to break it down in parables, because they're saying you just ain't gonna understand it. You just won't. Okay, your mind is not the mind of whoever created this. You can't get there. You ain't ever gonna get there. Okay, so they have to break it down, give it to you in parables, give it to you in riddles, that kind of stuff. So we're gonna go along with the Jesus program. Okay, have you noticed that when they send their avatars in their books, in suggestions, so to bring you up to speed, that you reject them? It's almost as though you like everything the way you are, and no one can tell you, you know what, you got it all wrong. No one can tell you that you have things wrong. And although you would say, well, everything is changing now. We have technology and we have moved from the outside toilet to the inside toilet, and you can name a host of things where you can say that you are in a better future, but you still don't know who created the pyramids. Okay, you still don't know that. You still don't realize that Antarctica, a continent, was recently discovered. You still don't realize that the bear, was recently discovered, and there are a host of other things that you may say went extinct, and then after a while you see them again and you realize, wait, it didn't go extinct. You don't know nothing. You don't know much about nothing. You only know what the white man tells you. You only know what the white man tells you. And when an avatar comes in to tell you something, when something strange happens in the history books, because this is in the history books, you never met Jesus, you never saw no Jesus. Okay, even when they talk to you about what color he was and how he looked, they gave him blue eyes. So you don't know, you really don't know. But when they put in there that there was some sort of zeitgeist, there was a time when something miraculous happened on the earth, and it's in a book. It also shows you that you reject the avatars that come in to tell you you're doing this thing wrong. You have it all wrong. You like it here. And if you don't want to be corrected, if you're not looking at yourself and saying that you're actually blind and you really don't know what you're doing, and you actually are, you become kind of an open vessel, not for everything, but for truth. You open yourself up for truth. If you could only do that, maybe you would get somewhere. But like I said before, even with all the technology, you ain't nowhere. Even with all the technology, even with the internet open, and you think that, okay, the internet is open and people are going to know more because they can do searches, it's right there at fingertips. You still don't know anymore. You still are no better off. There's still poor people. Things have not changed. It's gotten worse. So the technology hasn't worked. The avatars coming in, they never have worked. And let's call, if you want to call him that, Martin Luther King, you want to call him that, he was a black man. But do you want to call Martin Luther King Jr.? Let's say that he was an avatar. Let's say Malcolm X was an avatar. And they came to give you an upgrade in terms of updating your mind space. You really don't listen to them. You really don't care to listen to them. And if you do care to listen to them, they're taken out by a government, by an agency. They're just taken out. And then when they're taken out, you go back to being whatever you were before. You don't say to yourselves, well, they took him out because they didn't want us to hear what he was saying. So we have to pick up from where he left off and continue. No, you don't do that. You don't continue on. You go back. So when you think you're 2 or 3 steps ahead, they knock you back 5, 6, 10 steps back. They knock you back, and you don't mind. You don't seem to mind because you're populating. You're having kids, and you're going through the motion of everything else that's going on here, and you don't seem to care. And when someone dies, when someone has died, and we all seem to want to engage that act which tells us you gotta cry. You gotta feel something. If not, that you will appear cold, you will appear this way, or you seem this what other way. You are acquiescing to people who like that sort of drama. Okay, you are not looking to raise your aura. You're not looking to raise your consciousness. You just want to get along. And when the avatars come here, sometimes whatever instructions they came with, they have to kowtow to you. They have to say, okay, well, let me not go so far as to say this. Okay, I'll meet you halfway. Like I always say, you have to meet people, where they are. When they come here, they figure the same thing out. And we're going to have to meet these people where they are because they're not moving. They're not moving. So when I say to you that you're either an earth demon, because this is hell, and you're going to come back again and again. You're always going to be here again because they need here. Anyone who wants to have an experience of death, anyone who wants to have that, you have to come here or someplace like earth, someplace like this particular hell. You're going to have to come here to experience walking through the valley of the shadow of death. You're going to have to come here. This is death. This is a death valley. So if you are an earth demon, you will like it here. Someone who is coming for the experience would know, well, this is not my home. This is not my home. I'm just having an experience, and I've brought along my angels with me so that they can comfort me in this particular realm. Okay, but a lot of you like it here. A lot of you like the food. A lot of you don't care that there are wars. You don't care that people are being killed, that babies are being hurt, that women are being killed. You don't care about that. You don't care that you bring in an entity that go off and make wars, the males. You don't care about nothing. You don't care about nothing. Okay? So you should consider yourself an earth demon, and you're going to come back here. You live here. You live here, and you think when they say you're going to burn forever and ever, you don't even know you don't even know that you're burned. You don't feel it. You've grown accustomed to living here and the way things are here, and you belong here. And then there are some that when they do transition, they don't come back. They're not going to come back. They were just here for the experience. They didn't like the food. They don't like the wars. They don't like all the laws. They don't like all the religions. They don't like nothing. They don't like anything that's going on here in this realm because it's hell. You're in hell. Okay? So when I say to you that when someone dies, you have to upgrade the apps you have, those mourning apps and those grieving apps you have inside of you, you're going to have to, well, you don't have to. It would be nice if you upgraded your thinking. And if you and your clan are earth demons, You're going to see that child again. It's going to be born again from some, maybe within your own family or some. You're going to see that child again. So why mourn? And if that entity that died was not an earth demon, they were just here for an experience, to experience walking through the valley of the shadow of death. If they were here for that experience, why not let them go? Why not wish them bon voyage and let them go? Okay, but the mourning and the crying and all that money you spend with the undertaker, someone that tells you that you got that shit all wrong, we know you're not going to listen. You don't listen to nobody. You'd rather crucify. You'd rather crucify a second Jesus that came here. You'd rather crucify God itself. Let me get back there. You'd rather crucify God itself, okay, than to listen to reason. So when I say to you, don't cry. It's just how it said here, don't cry. There's life after death, whether it be life back here in this hell, or whether it be life going to you may have your own planet, you may have your own solar system, you may have your own universe, but it continues. When I say that to you and you don't get it, if you don't get it, just understand that you're an earth demon. I just used him as an example because he recently died, but just recognize that you are an earth demon when someone dies and you cannot let them go. You do not want to let them go. Your lack of understanding is a detriment to people who come here, to entities, spirits who come here that are just coming to have the experience. You are an obstacle to them. You become an obstacle. You're an obstacle to them, because all of that crying and weeping and whatever, what if they were to look back? What if they were to hear you on their way out and they look back and then find themselves back here again? You need to let people go. I think this whole conversation I'm having with you right now is simply to say, you don't understand the realm you're in. You don't understand the spiritual nature of things. You just do not want to grow to the heights and the widths, and you don't want to spread out yourself out into eternity and ask questions. Why am I here? Who am I? Is it the end? And why aren't we like more amphibious? I always wondered about that. Why aren't we more amphibious? Because this is a water planet. But yeah, you're not asking any sort of questions. So you like it here. You like it here. So understand that you are an earth demon. Just simply understand that if you like everything that you see here, even though it has wars and everything, you just excuse it, you add romance to everything. If you like it here, you are an earth demon. If the person who has died that liked it here, and you talk to them, and you got into the back of their minds and they loved it here, they are an earth demon and they're coming back. Why are you gonna cry? They're coming back. And if it's a sojourner that came just to have an experience, this world is not their home. They're just having an experience. They're just passing through. That's all they are. They're just passing through. They're gone. You're crying. Why cry? Why cry? Upgrade your mourning app. Upgrade your grieving app. Remember, you don't know what love is. You can't know what love is, because the biggest aspect of love is being able to let go. Being able to let go. You don't know what love is. Okay? So when I pour through on Facebook and I see people talking this and that and everything. It's like, are they going to send another avatar here to the earth? To do what? You know, you're talking about the second coming. Somebody was, I'm always around people who are talking this way. They're looking for the second coming. I'm like, so they will send us another avatar here of the Jesus quality? To do what? To say what? You know, a second crucifixion? Is that, it doesn't make sense. That part of the Bible, it actually does not make any sense. They're sending no one back here. No one's coming to save you. If you like it here, you belong here, and you'll never really die. This earth, hell, is going to go on forever, never, 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 never. And you're going to keep on finding more continents. Yeah, you're going to keep on finding more continents, and you're going to figure out sooner or later, somebody's going to have to tell you. The white man is going to have to tell you that all that shit you think you see in the sky, all those planets and all those bright lights you see in the sky, it's all here. It's all here, part of this particular domain, all here. And when they travel, they're just traveling in space. They're traveling in space to another neighborhood. They're traveling to another town. They're traveling to another city. They're traveling to another whatever. But if there are planets out there, they're here. They're here. And if they're talking about aliens coming and you're seeing stuff in space, they're here. They live here. The earth goes on forever and ever. Amen. It just goes on and on and on. Because if they just recently found Antarctica, okay, Antarctica, you know that there's a lot more that they have not discovered. You have to know that. You're going to have to know that it's a water planet that continues on and on and on and on and on. And whatever you see in the sky, because it's a water planet, it's just a reflection of the water, and you see it in the sky, the lights and that kind of stuff in the sky. It's just here. It's here. But you want to know that. No one can teach you nothing. No one can teach you nothing. You just don't want to listen to that. You don't want to know that. You rather think it's somewhere else and it's not here. And, you know, it just stays there. It doesn't move, but it's moving. And we are moving and everything's moving, but it still stays there. And every day you see it's still there. And next year you see it's still there. But everything's moving. Everything's moving. And you just want to know what the white man tells you to know. That's all you want to know, what the white man tells you to know. Okay, so this guy, Adam Brown, also known as Phoenix, you know, the Phoenix that comes up from the ashes and you know, better than ever. But yeah, he has died after people were asking for you to donate to his recovery and to give blood and that kind of stuff. He has died. And if he was not an earth demon, if he was not an earth demon, should let him go. And if he is and was an earth demon, he'll be back. Somebody's going to give birth and he'll be back. He'll find his way back here. He'll be back. So all that weeping and all, that's a show. That's just drama. It's just drama. I think, how long was I talking here? I think that's what I really wanted to say. I talked for almost 20 minutes, but that's really what I wanted to say, that in your ignorance and in your lack for wanting understanding, you just don't want to understand. When the avatars come here and tell you got it all wrong, you really don't understand what you're doing. You don't want to hear that. And you don't want to hear that is because you're earth demons. You like it here. You're earth demons. Okay? So yeah, so we have to push back. Everyone that is just passing through should push back, but even in pushing back, I think somebody should let you know that, you know, we recognize you. We recognize you, that you're not people that would learn or want to advance or want to get from here to there. You're going to be here forever and ever and ever and ever and ever and ever. This is hell. This is your hell. And some of us are just passing through. This is Sherry Veronica.
Help me spread the word about Naked Departure via social media. Subscribe and share to show support and love for our channels.